I've been collecting fragrances for about 8 years now, and what I want to do is just quickly go over a couple that have really stuck out to me the most and I've really enjoyed and have really kind of impressed me in one way or another. And I just want to clarify, this is just a drop in the bucket. This video could just get way too long, way too out of hand. I wanted to make some selections here that maybe aren't your usual suspects that you might expect to see in here. So some blatantly obvious ones aren't going to be here. The other thing is discontinued stuff, rare, hard to find, stuff you can't buy is excluded from this video as well. That would also drastically change the structure of this, and there will be a lot in here to the point where it just wouldn't probably be any fun because you wouldn't be able to buy any of those. So that's another thing to keep in mind as well. I've got some of my favorites ever that are discontinued that would have been in here, but I'm not including them. Let's start things off with an iris scent that I love and that has continued to grow on me even until now. And it's been out for a while and I've had it for a long time. It's Valentino Uomo Intense. So this is the perfect blend of iris, vanilla, leather, and tonka bean. It is done to perfection. And what I like about this one so much compared to, let's say, Homme Intense, Gentleman Eau de Parfum, because those three or these three are typically kind of grouped together. In this instance here, it is the leather that I like so much. Now that leather note, it's not prominent in Homme Intense. It's not there. It's not there in Gentleman Eau de Parfum, okay? You get a bit of a leather iris in something like Homme Parfum, which would have definitely been in this video if it was still available, but it's not. But you pick up on it here, and it's a really, really nice combination that I think should be used more. I think that iris and leather complement each other perfectly, and that vanilla tonka to go along with it, adding to that sweetness and that creaminess, just takes this one to the next level. Now, this is the old style bottle here with no cap, just got that type of sprayer. New style, same thing. There's hardly any difference at all in terms of the old bottle, the new bottle, in terms of scent itself, okay? This is just the one I happened to pick up. But I love this stuff. I think it's amazing. And as I mentioned, you know, even now it still just intrigues me enough to where I continue to like it even more because, again, I do have a lot of other iris options out there, but it's something about this one that I just keep going back to. Now, this next one also is, it's no surprise. So maybe this one is a little bit obvious, but I just had to put it in here. And you know, it's gonna be maybe a bit more boring to some because it's so popular, but for me, the scent is just unlike anything else out there. It's La Nuit de l'Homme, of course, by YSL. One of their best works ever, the brand YSL in terms of colognes. This is, I mean, it's a timeless masterpiece of a scent. I mean, they really kind of created history with this one in one way or another. I mean, it's truly iconic. And, you know, I really wish that they would work with this a little bit more. You know, they did for a while with La Nuit de l'Homme Bleu Electrique, and by that I mean about 1 year before they took that one away. But that was kind of like reimagined La Nuit de l'Homme, kind of going back to some of the older versions, older batches of La Nuit de l'Homme before it started to get changed over the years. That's kind of what that one was about. And Bleu Electrique with that blue gradient bottle, you know, it did have just a little bit of a modernized twist, but still going back to the roots of OG La Nuit de l'Homme with that really nice, rich, seductive, spicy cardamom note. Great scent. So was this. And again, I wish that they would, instead of focusing on, you know, the whys and the myselfs and stuff, which I love. Come on, just give us like a good solid reimagination of La Nuit de l'Homme like they did for a while. Like bring back Bleu Electrique and I'll be happy. But regardless, you could still, of course, buy La Nuit de l'Homme. It's available everywhere, so not a huge deal. But this stuff, it just, that cardamom lavender mixture is unlike anything else out there. There's really nothing that smells like this, except for maybe a clone or two here and there, and Bleu Electrique at one point. It's truly on its own. So that's what I love about it. And it was just so popular and still is, but I mean, it's definitely not at the peak popularity anymore. Just like anything, when it comes to hype and popularity, it hits its peak and then it just kind of trails off. And you know, when it trails off, you know, sometimes you can work it back in, and it doesn't mean it's gone forever in terms of any sort of uniqueness or anything. I guess it depends on what it is. You know, the original Acqua di Gio, that's a bit of a different story, I think, than something like Nuit homme. I think this is still very usable, and I think people would still love how it smells. Let's go for actually a bit of a newer release. This one is, although the line is not. It is L'Homme Ideal Parfum by Guerlain. I'm kind of to the point where this is the one I go for. This is the one to get. Now, don't get me wrong. Is the Extreme and the Eau de Parfum still worth owning and trying? Absolutely. They are amazing too. But as far as what checks off all the boxes for me and for what I look for, this is just kind of it. It's a boozy almond L'Homme Ideal, right? And that's kind of what I like. I like scents that keeps happening. Every time I take the cap off, I lose the atomizer. I like scents like this. It's the perfect blend. It doesn't smell overly alcohol saturated. It's just the right amount with that almond. They're using an amaretto in here to achieve that kind of liquor smell. The almond, as I already mentioned, which ties it back to the rest of the lineup. It's classy, it's refined, sophisticated, very, very high quality, even though it's not outrageously priced like a lot of other newer scents are these days. I've got no choice but to spray this one because I've got to seat that atomizer on there. I mean, I'm not complaining. I could smell this stuff all day. It smells amazing. Check it out for sure. Definitely one that is it's high on my list. Again, the others are amazing. Always going to love those. They're still worthwhile. But that one's kind of top tier for me right now. And this next one is a new release also. And again, the line itself, as you're seeing a trend here, is not new, been around since, well, I mean, the original came out in what, late 1990s or something like that. I can't remember for sure, but this line has been ongoing and continuing to evolve. This is the new Le Male Elixir Absolu. Now, I love Le Male Elixir. I think it's great. To be fair, I love Ultra Male. I love Le Male Parfum. For the most part, all of the flankers are really good. I think all of the flankers so far are better at this point than the original. I just think those are the way to go. So it's got tonka bean, plum, cinnamon, and then whether or not it's listed off or not, you do pick up on a vanilla, and you get a lot of the similarities of Le Male Elixir, although this one doesn't have the tobacco honey combination that Le Male Elixir has. This one, it's kind of going a different route with this sweet, fruity plum accord, which smells great. And you know what? They've used those sweet, fruity notes before. I just mentioned Ultra Male. That one uses a pear note, which is a little bit uncommon, but worked really well. And similar thing here. Maybe they're having that thought in their mind when they were putting this one together, but there's something about that kind of underutilized sweet fruity accord in a men's scent that makes it stand out, and it makes it super unique, and it makes it a head turner. And that's what this one has, and that's what Ultra Male has as well. Stuff smells wonderful. It's really, really solid and already on discounters for a good price. And it's just a lot better than I thought it was going to be. I wasn't expecting it to be bad, but it's actually pretty unique and a bit different and kind of a change of pace. And it really sticks in my head. It's definitely left a great impression. I've worn it quite a bit and going to continue to work it in while it's a little bit cool out for me to do so. It is a really nice release. And, you know, for some it's important, but the bottle, that all gold, you know, there's the Elixir had in the middle here, you could see through, okay? You could see the level inside. Not here. I don't know if it shows up, but that is just all gold, okay? It looks like it's a different shade because of the shadows, but it's not. This thing is just pure gold, okay? I've said it a million times, but it really is. It is pretty cool looking. Okay, we're gonna go for niche up next, but it's designer priced. You know, it's Mancera Intense Cedrat Boisé. And what started my love affair for this, of course, was Mancera's Cedrat Boisé EDP, which is what I had first, of course, because it came out first a long time ago. And it was my first ever niche fragrance purchase, which is pretty cool, you know. And why? Well, because I just said, it's even back then they were designer priced, still are, even actually more so now. The price on these on discounters has actually gone down, if I'm remembering it correctly. I don't remember ever being able to get Cedrat Boisé for 60 bucks, 120 ml back when I got it. And every so often you'll see it pop up for around $60 to $62. I mean, that is just unheard of. Okay, so the prices on these are incredible. And at this point, now that we have the Intense, which is a pure parfum, this is the better one for me. Okay, and I've spent years and a lot of time wearing the original Eau de Parfum. I just think this is the way to go. The price difference is there, but you're looking at a difference of about $30, okay, to go up to this Extrait. To me, that $30 is more than well spent, because you're still looking at right around, you know, $90 to maybe $100 for this, and actually could be a bit less at this point. Performance is quite a bit better than the EDP. It's just a little bit richer, a little bit heavier, just a nice improvement. Still that nice, and look at that atomizer too, nice woody, fruity, sweet scent, fantastic everyday wear. Just really, really well done. You know, you're gonna see comparisons to Aventus here and there. It's not that simple, you know. While it might take a one page out of that 100-page book, you know, as one way to put it, it doesn't mean it smells exactly like it, because it does not. Could you see a similarity here and there? Sure, but it's more complex than that. And actually, it's a lot sweeter than Aventus, uses a lot more of a woody accord, not a smoky birch. So a lot of differences to where some would actually prefer this over Aventus. And also this could be kind of excelling in other use cases compared to Aventus too. Maybe cooler weather wear, maybe a bit better, a lot more affordable, and some may even get better performance out of this. So there's a lot of you know, differences between them that you should weigh out yourself when choosing to make a purchase. Okay, this next one is Ralph Lauren Purple Label. You know, I mean, as far as Ralph Lauren fragrances go, there's not a ton that I really am mind blown over. In fact, I don't think there are any other ones besides this. I'll just say it. Now, I love them. You know, Polo Red Parfum, the new Ralph's Club Elixir and Parfum, all amazing fragrances, right? They're all good. I don't really think I've come across one that I didn't like, so that means something. But compared to some other brands like YSL, Dior, Chanel, Armani, and so on, those brands have some heavy hitters that I'm just in love with and I think are amazing. Ralph Lauren, very few and far between, and really the only one that would fall into that category is this one right here. And the reason why for me is mainly because of the blackberry note in here. Okay, the blackberry, coriander, kind of interesting blend of a sour fruitiness mixed with a lot of woods, oak moss, lavender, so it's kind of green and earthy as well, very masculine and more traditional style. Purple Label is just the essence of that. More of a masculine, traditional, slightly older school style cologne. And this is not new either, so that's part of the reason why, you know, it wasn't released in the past couple of years. If it was, it would probably smell like what a lot of new releases smell like. But this one came out in a time where the landscape was different, and that's why I like it so much. There's not a whole lot like it. Now, Bond Number 9 Bleecker Street is one that you see thrown around. This did come out first, so take that information and use that to your discretion there, but this was out first by a good few years. But one of the differences is going to be the Bond uses blueberry, this uses blackberry. There's a pretty big difference there in terms of smell. But Bond Number 9 Bleecker Street also uses a lot of oak moss like this, has that kind of greenish, woody, masculine smell to it. So there are quite a few similarities, but also not that cut and dry either. And there's a bit of a price difference too in favor of Purple Label. We're gonna finish this video off with Acqua di Gio Profondo. So you know it would be a Profumo / Parfum. It's such a given that I don't need to say it. However, one that, you know, I definitely need to give credit to is this 2020 release. And the reason why I say that is because as far as other aquatics go, nothing like it. Now there are a few clones of this, obviously, so that's, you know, the things are imitating it. But as far as like original creations and just this style of aquatic, it wasn't done until this came out, is kind of what I'm trying to get at here. The way the mineral notes smell is something I've never smelled before in any other fragrance, and it really is so realistic. And talk about wanting to smell like the ocean. If that's you, then this is it, and you should buy it. Now, one other thing too is this is Profondo 2020. The new style, it's basically the same thing, okay? So I grabbed this one because it's of course what I had first because it came out first. If you go out and buy Profondo and it's the new version, again, it's essentially the same thing. They go hand in hand. Differences are so minor that it's not really worth noting. Actually, in some instances, I do like the opening better of the new version. So that's, you know, it's a little bit brighter. I really like it. But I just wanted to grab this one just to keep it, you know, keep it OG, I guess. Alrighty, guys, that's gonna do it for me. Some fragrances that have just really left an impact on me. And, you know, out of everything I have, that's kind of saying something. I will link all these down below. Don't buy retail, okay? All these are available at discounters. There's going to be a button that says shop, you know, in this video. So that's going to take you to all the prices that we're referencing here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.